Now over to Australia. Firefighters are getting little relief there on containing the deadly bushfires due to strong winds. A global appeal for funding raised more than $17 million on Monday as swaths of the country suffered extensive damage and the death toll from the long-running crisis hit 24. More than 1,000 homes have been destroyed. I spoke earlier to Australian financial analyst Peter McGuire. He says the government is playing catch-up.
The general sentiment is that the government needs to move a little bit quicker than what it has. Prime Minister Morrison is back in Australia and he's leading the charge, but it's all about leadership and it's all about working together to try and attack these fires as quickly and as strongly as possible.
Now, we know Australia has faced devastating fires like this before. In your experience, just how much of an impact has it had on the nation? How long do you think it will take to rebuild from this one?
Well, these are quite devastating. I mean, you've got townships that have been absolutely taken apart and looking from a social cost, an economic cost, and of course, the infrastructure. So it can take years, it can take a decade. And what happens is you've got the social cost. What happens with older people? They may move to other parts of Australia, migration and so on. So it has a very, very many moving parts.
This has shocked many,
yes.
And each day that Sydney is blanketed in toxic haze, we know impacts tourism. So just how devastating an effect has that had?
Well, they're looking at airline flights that are 60% full. So all of these impacts, you've got, worldwide coverage on this whole factor. People aren't travelling to Sydney for those holiday seasons or enjoying time at the beach because of air quality and, of course, the fear factor. And that really takes a number of months or if not years to work through.
You talked about leadership earlier.
Absolutely.
Scott Morrison, obviously, not really taking a very strong stance on that. How do you think that's going to impact Australia's policies long term?
Well, I think, you've got that a strong undercurrent of people saying, well, look, there needs to be action taken place. Then you've got the other side saying, well, it all comes down to the drought and all of the energy that was there as far as ground and trees going into that natural inferno that was created and these bushfires are feeding off. So there's two mixed camps and it's going to be interesting from a political standpoint, who ends up being the champion.
Peter McGuire there speaking to me earlier.